welcome back to the Good Luck Workshop. My name is Joe, and I've got a project. This is how it came to me. Let's open it up, see what it is. Well, I know what it is, but let's see if you can figure it out. So a friend of mine tells me that, hey, I need your help. The gate fell apart. And this is the gate. Well, I guess I got a rag. Sweet. Always use a rag. The son-in-law made this gate. Ooh, going back quite a few years now. And I understand why it fell apart. L bracket. That's not even an L bracket, that's just a face frame bracket. Really? That's meant for temporary repair. Slide bolt was the top. Oh, yeah. And this. Plastic lattice. It's for his deck. And what he uses the gate for is to keep the dog from running out and taking off into the neighborhood or Memphis. But nonetheless, I don't like it. I think it looks tacky. And obviously I can't repair the gate itself, so we're gonna have to rebuild it. We'll get some dimensions off of this. We'll kind of piece it back together and we will build a new gate properly. It had no sag support on it. It explains why it fell apart. It looks like he didn't even use any type of glue. I think he just nailed it together. Maybe a few screws. But we'll fix it up right for him. And we'll take care of that right about now. Okay, I put the jigsaw puzzle back together. We have an upper, obviously, stiles and rails. Let's get some dimensions. We'll write them out, and we're going to rebuild this properly. We'll do some half flaps. What we got here? From the top. There we go. 34. Double check this side. Gotta take into consideration the rot. Yeah, 34 sounds good. And 34 1/4 on that side. All right. That's just okay. Rotted gate. Let's double check that. Yeah. So we got the dimensions. We will. The only thing I think we're going to keep the original gate is the slide bolt. We'll draw up a plan. I'll show you the plan, and then I'll meet you at the table saw. We rip down some wood and chop saw, cut it to length. I'll get her done. Thank you. All right, here we are. So I made up a little plan. I got this nice little 2x8 Doug fir. We're gonna left over from another project. So we're gonna cut this down. I'm gonna rip the molded edge off. I'm gonna make this a little more square for my friend there, and we're gonna rip it to size. We'll get her done. I'm gonna rip the edge off on both sides. Well, probably just the one side, and then from there we'll rip our stiles and rails out of it, and then with the leftovers I'm going to rip down a little bit narrow for do a little design down the middle instead of the lattice panel that was there. All right. done, we'll bring out the crosscut sled and cut them to final length. And from there, we will set up for half lap joints on the corners. Okay, we're back. We're gonna do a crosscuts on these. Now that they're shorter, they're fairly straight, fairly square. We're just gonna square up the two ends and cut them to length. All right, let's do this. Make sure we raise the blade up. It's going through the crosscut sled now. Looks good. Square this end up. Get that set up, those cut to length, finished length. What we're going to do now is we are going to remove the standard rip blade and crosscut sled, go over to a dado stack. We're going to set up the dado stack. We're going to do a half lap joint for these corners. One reason being is it's a lot of surface area, it's very strong, as well as easy to assemble and very easy to keep square. Okay, I switched back my blades out. I put in my dado stack throat plate. I've stacked up 3/4 inch dado stack. You set center line from some scrap. It's the same as that. Same as thicknesses of the pieces we're going to work with. So I set the center line for that. I set the height to that line. Now we're going to set the depth with a stop block from the off the fence. Kind of cheat here. Use the thickness of the material. And this will be our test cut to make sure everything is right. So remember, when setting your stop block, don't go all the way up the fence because it will come back and bite you. It'll get pinched between the blade and the fence and throw it back. I use the stop block back here, further back on the fence, like so. What that'll do, that'll set me up where I won't have to worry about it getting pinched between the blade and the fence. We just line our fence, bring up our miter, and we don't need this right now, so flip this out of the way. So from here we'll make our pass and then nibble out through the end of the piece on both test pieces and see how they fit. Let's go for it. Depth-wise, we're okay. As far as the hook to the fence, that side is good. However, we gotta adjust the blade height a little bit. Oh, I'd say half that distance. Let's check what it is. There we go, that's what we wanted. That'll give us a nice, secure joint for our gate. Let's lock and load. I'm gonna cut my pieces, and then we'll meet you back at the bench for assembly. Okay, I've made the cuts. We've done our half lap. I just did a dry fit here. Everything looks really good. And considering this is an outdoor application, we're gonna go with a Titebond 3. It's a waterproof adhesive or glue, if you're not familiar with Titebond 3. This is original Titebond wood glue, which is good. Titebond 2 is water resistant, and Titebond 3 is for your wet applications, say outside in weather, as well as cutting boards and those things that actually get wet. We're just gonna glue this up, get a nice little glue level on it, both sides. And we're gonna have it done. It's gonna look good. So we apply glue. Usually you do both sides, but this is a nice thick level. This side and this side. I got a little less squeeze out this way, but don't get me wrong, James King is right. King's fine woodworking is never too much glue. Okay, here we go. Spread that out there. Do a little to this side. Yeah, that looks good. We're gonna drop in some 1 1/4 inch galvanized nails. Outdoor application and all. This will be painted eventually. But for now, this will do just fine. Bring the square up. Nice and square, tight, flush. That. Now let's do our other side. Good squeeze out. That's good. Put a little clamp on here real quick. That's our square. Mainly the glue is going to hold the joint. These 16 gauge finish nails are there to hold it in place until the glue dries. Let's just grab a rag here. Off that glue. I don't worry about getting glue on my work table. I put a couple coats of lacquer and I wax it So any dry glue that gets on it pops right off if you don't wipe it up before it dries. Alright, some more Titebond 3. The good stuff. Normally I buy my glue by the gallon. You'll find that it's cheaper. And if you go through enough glue in a year, trust me, it won't go bad. Now, some people like to use the brush. I do too. When I have a large glue up, but this is not a very large glue up. This is a small one. It's not that big a deal. I do have a silicone brush. I've also used scrapers, credit cards, you know those fake ones they give you in the mail? Those are always a fun one to use. I know, using the whole Johnny as a rag, I don't care. I'll cut it up at a later date. Squeeze, check for square, looks good, check this nice and tight on that side there. Alright, nice and square, we like it. Place, drive a couple of nails in it. Alright, wipe off any squeeze out. Now another trick is you can let the glue dry for about 20 minutes. Come back with a chisel, a straw. I like the straw trick, especially for inside corners of boxes or frames. But for this, I just wipe it out. No worries. Now, I'm gonna set this aside. We'll double check our measurements, make sure everything is right. And then we're gonna set up cut for our design for this panel. I'll be back in a bit. For you, it'll be 10 seconds. No, 2 seconds. No, 1 second. Okay, welcome back. Sorry about that. It's been a couple of days. Got to take care of some other business, but I have taken some time. I took the leftover remnants of this 2x8 and I ripped it down to 1.5 by 1.5. We're going to do our little cross bracing design. So first thing we're going to do, lay it out for the corner to corner. We'll probably just hand cut these. It'll probably be faster and easier, and then I can use the block plane to make those corners match up better. For a perfect fit, we'll sneak up on it. That looks perfect. For the first one, now, I'm going to make a mess here. Let's grab the old hole saw, wherever I put it. There we go. I'll clamp this down. Make these cuts. Now, I'm not liking that. It's not centered as it should be. So let's try this again. Faux pas. Erase that line. We're going to draw a center line in that area on both ends. That way I can line that center line up with the corner. That way I'll have a more even corner for both of them on my layout. Now, as I say, 1.5, yeah, and 3/4 of an inch center line. Quarter inch there. 3/4 of an inch here. That's our center line. Ooh, my straight edge isn't long enough. Guess I'll have to just use the square. Of course. Yeah. Alright, remember where I put it. Give me a second, I'll be right back. And that for that. There we go. Line there. Nice center line there. So we can work with those two to get this lined up better. Make sure it looks good before we make our cuts. I know I should have given it a rough cut, but I didn't feel like it. Line that corner up with the center line. Then we can draw our cut lines. There. Lines up. And there's our cut lines. Alright, I'm back. I did that little sand just to sand up the edges, fit it in nicely. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark the center line for the cross, the other corners. They're obviously not going to, I'm not going to do a half lap or anything. I'm just going to butt them up into the corners and butt them up into the center brace. So for now, what we want to do So I want to mark the center line for the brace. So when I go to line up and cut, I'll have a nice point of reference for the other pieces. All I'm doing is marking that center line right there. And then we'll mark our corners, cut those, and then cut it to length to fit in the center so they butt up. I'll hang this back on the wall. Don't need that anymore. Then what we'll do is we'll mark these two. We're going to mark center lines for them, and we'll cut them. So center line it is. Let's see. 3/4 of an inch. Still can't find that other square that's bothering the heck out of me. I wish I could find it, but I can't, unfortunately. Let's see what side I want to show. I like this one. Alright, start here. We're going to mark our center line. Let's see. How far down? Right there. And mark my center line down in that area. Line up on the corner, line up in the center lines here, and these will be the 3 cuts that I need to make. Again, like before, I'm just going to use my pull saw. I'm going to mark our lines down the sides. So I have a follow line. Trusty pull saw, stay outside the line, follow it down. And it's a nice clean cut. This corner. That's a nice fit. This mark, we're going to follow this again outside the line, and we can always sand or trim up tighter just to creep up on it so it's a nice tight fit. That's actually pretty good. I'm going to stay outside that line a straight cross cut. Right through, a little outside that line, probably about, 16th, probably a little bit more, which is fine. Yeah, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use my little disc sander and sand down a little bit and try it out. Be right back. See how that fits? That nice. Perfect fit, nice and snug. That'll be perfect for that one. Now I'm going to do the same for the other side. We'll mark our center line again. Set our square. 3/4 of an inch. There. And approximately this area here. And you left your pencil over here like a moron. Do that all the time. I try to remember to put it back in its spot, but sometimes it hides it back. Same process again, just mark the line down the edge, follow. Both miters. Put my pencil back where it belongs this time. Clip the piece down. Again with the pull saw, we'll go with this one first. I say just outside the line. Straight all that line. Down. The other corner. Nice fit. Mark that edge. That's what we want to cut. Alright. I'll cut that, we'll be right back. Edit that part, I took a piss. Okay, we cut that side a little long, so that fits nicely. Oh, we're gonna have to do a little sand. Not a big deal. Just sand that edge a little square off. Down to the line. Be right back. Okay, like sand there to that corner. Look at that. Falls right in perfectly. Line up that center line. That'll be our glue points. Nail points for that part of the gate. And we'll start doing the other little pieces that all go the other direction. Perpendicular to the real cross brace. Alright. Excuse me for a minute. We're going to go get glue, get our nail gun. We're just going to glue it and nail it with the... I'm going to go with a toenail and a 1.25 inch galvanized, and that'll be fine. Now I could use pocket holes and screws or something to that nature, but like I said, the application is an outdoor. It's just a gate, and that glue will hold up really nice, even with the end grain. It'll hold up real good. Be back in a minute. And mark. Okay, I've got the cross braces done. What I've done is I've divided the distances from the center point to the corners in thirds, so we can take our marks and we're going to line them up. We're going to put our center lines on these, as well as the center lines going down, so we can mark out for the rest of our, I don't know how you want to call that. Normally it's a ballast, or a baluster. Some of that, I can't remember the exact name for it, but I'll look it up. And you'll probably see something here along the screen what it's really called. The thing I want to, or down here somewhere, the thing I want to do is I want to mark our center lines for, I've already marked it, divided it out. I've marked my center lines, and I've used my square. I've marked the center line on the rails and the stiles. Now what we're going to do is we're going to mark the side lines down. Found my little square. This is some pain in the butt. Not having it, but that's alright. So, I can take my little square. We're going to mark the center line down so we get this set up accordingly. Now, if you haven't used center lines before, you'll try it. it's a really good tip for getting things lined up. Get them in the center. You can always measure off of it. Even if you don't even use the center line, just get things equally divided. This happens to be in thirds, but it still works. Alright, that's going to go this way. So we'll mark this side. So when we go to cut, line up, make our cut lines for these little balusters. Now we know exactly how to line it up. So they'll all be evenly and parallel. You know, they're perpendicular to the center cross braces. They're parallel to themselves. Rotate. Center line is to here. Center line is to there. To this side. And on that side. And that side. Alright, our center lines are set up. Now, let's start with a short piece. So our center line, again, set for 3/4 of an inch for our 1.5 inch piece here. Now this is a shorty, so we'll work off of this one. Ooh, we're going to square that edge up. It's not very square. Not a big deal. We can do that. We'll square it up when we do the first cuts. So if we take our piece, let's give it a little leverage over the side. Line up our center lines. Now we make our cut marks. So we want to cut them. That looks good. Again, just going to use the pull saw. No need to go all out and grab a, use the square saw. I mean, I could use my miter box for the square cut. And maybe we'll do that. Yeah, let's go do that. That's how you line up, make those cuts. To make your cut lines, I am going to now lay out for the second one, for the next one in the place, and we'll do all those cuts at once. Probably using the miter box or using the miter gauge on the table saw. Should do it. Yeah, that'll work there. That looks like crap. Sorry for the background noise. Sometimes my friendly neighborhood peoples like to crank up their music. Oh, I'm tired of this. Tired. Stay still so I can do this, will you? On this side. Alright. There. Our support. Line up our center line here and here. Got a pencil, mark our cut lines. Again, we'll cut outside the line and sand it to match. We'll cut these two, we'll get them in place. Give me just a minute. We'll see what it looks like. Okay, I've cut these two down. I line up my center marks, they line up nice. I did make a slight sand down to the line. We use my disc sander just to make those fit nice. Now, we're going to glue these ones in, and we're going to repeat the process for the other three sides. And we'll come back and we'll show you how that looks when it's done. Thank you. Hey, this is Joe back from the Good Luck Workshop. We're actually going to go over to our clients. It's actually a client friend of mine. Go over, install that gate we finished up. It's in the back of the truck. And we're going to fix one of his other gates as well. Just picked up some hinges for it. And we'll pick it back up when we get there. All right, here's a new gate installed for the customer, or a friend of mine. Anyway, he likes it. Looks good. Sorry I didn't film it. I just don't have didn't bring my tripod with me like a moron. These things happen. It looks good. You're gonna like it. Matches really well with the rest of it, considering it's the same paint. And once again, it's Joe from the Good Luck Workshop. Please like and subscribe. Till the next time.